if just before the video I could ask you to please like the video, or at least remember to like it after watching it, that would be great. And also, if you have any questions that you don't feel are answered with this video, feel free to comment them and I will answer them as quick as possible. What's up, guys? This is OmegaLiar, and today I'm bringing you an actually pretty nice gameplay, or more or less snippets of a gameplay, using the HAMR LMG, which is by far my favorite LMG in Black Ops 2. And before I talk about that too much, let me just talk about my class setup. You can see here I'm using Ghost, Hardline, Toughness, and Dexterity. And there are some things that can be better about that, but also, for the most part, it's a pretty good setup. Works well for the LMG. See me messing around there. But as you can probably tell from the title, this is going to be my HAMR tips and tricks commentary. And given that it's my favorite LMG, and given my knowledge about the gun itself, I think this is going to be a pretty good one. So now, the first and most important thing, and usually what I talk about most of the time at the beginning of these commentaries, is the fire rate. And the HAMR is one of those interesting ones. Similar to the AN-94 assault rifle, the HAMR has basically two sets of fire rates. It's beginning fire rate, and then its actual fire rate. Now what happens with this gun is your first 7 shots come out at around 900 RPM. And I'll talk about why that's so significant later, but first of all, that gives it some interesting handling characteristics, because after that, it drops down to 600 RPM, so there's a huge drop there in its fire rate. And the effect that it has on the gun is absolutely dramatic. But now here's why this is so important. The HAMR, like the other LMGs in the game, is a 3-shot kill, and it actually has very, very good range. Now what you get from that is, at least for the first 7 shots, the FAMAS from Black Ops 1. The infamous FAMAS. This gun is as powerful, especially if controlled properly, as the FAMAS, and that's part of the reason why I like it so much. You get kills so fast if you're accurate and on target, and you do trigger management. And just by burst firing, you basically have one of the most powerful weapons in the game. So this gun is absolutely fantastic, and with a little bit of trigger management, do some burst firing, you can get kills very, very quickly. So now that you have an idea of the fire rate, which goes from basically FAMAS for the first 7 shots to the SCAR H in this game, Black Ops 2, for every shot after that, there's other things that you can take advantage of about the firing handling characteristics. Excuse me. Now, obviously, if you want to burst fire it, you're going to shoot like the FAMAS, you're going to kill quickly, and that's great for close range. But it does give it significantly higher recoil than it would have if you just hold down the trigger and wait to see it happen. And what you generally want to do from that is that if you see multiple enemies, you want to continue to burst fire, get them down as quick as possible. But if someone is at a further distance, there's absolutely nothing wrong with just pinning down the trigger, waiting for your fire rate to drop down to the slower fire rate, which will be extremely noticeable. You'll have no problems differentiating between the fast fire rate and the slow fire rate. And then using that to just then guide yourself on target, because the amount of recoil you have when you're shooting 600 rounds per minute is very, very low. Almost nothing. So you basically go... That's what I'm going to call this gun. It's a mixture of the FAMAS from Black Ops 1 and the ACR from Modern Warfare 3. It goes from very fast, very quick, but somewhat accurate, to very slow, not so quick, but very accurate. Now, there's other cool parts about this gun. For instance, its range is very, very good. You can see here I'm using a silencer, and I have no problems on this map getting 3-shot kills. It's not a challenge, it's just something that happens. So, part of that is the reason that I recommend using the silencer on this gun. It allows you to play it a little bit more like an assault rifle, and after recent patch you have actually faster at least, aim down sights, so you don't need to run quick draw and waste one of your attachments on that. But, so, with the silencer definitely makes a good option, and it's one of my recommendations for this class. It doesn't work well on all MGs, the faster firing LCDQW, whatever it's called. The one that is basically a bigger Type 95, or Type 25, or whatever. That gun doesn't work so well with the silencer. It basically gets rid of its 3-shot kill, but in this case, you're not going to really have a noticeable difference between the silencer and the unsilenced version of this weapon. However, on contrary to that, rapid fire does have a major impact on this weapon, and I definitely do not recommend it. All it does is increase the slow fire rate of the gun. It does nothing to your first 7 bullets, it only affects every bullet after that. So technically, the killing potential of this weapon is no different with rapid fire or without rapid fire. Now on top of that, it only increases you from 600 RPM and the slow fire rate to 720. And it kills your range so much that I would just stick away from it. Instead, the best way to get a faster kill is just trigger management, making sure that you're using your gun properly, burst firing properly, and that's how you're going to optimize kills. So now, if you want, the iron sights on this gun are actually great. Personally, I prefer using some form of reticle, target finder, red dot, reflex, whatever, and that just works for me. But the iron sights, I will admit, are very open, very good, very easy to see through. So it's not a bad idea to try them out and try and get used to them, and then you can save yourself the attachment. But you can probably notice that I have 3 attachments on this gun, and the third one is stock. Now, that is probably the most important one for any LMG, actually, because you really, really want the mobility bonus. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to just sticking around and essentially camping, holding down one position, and you don't have the ability to move around as much. However, if you take such a powerful weapon like the HAMR, with its absolutely ridiculous killing potential, and then you give it an attachment that makes it have higher mobility, you basically more or less have exactly the FAMAS from Black Ops 1. So, there's no real compelling reason to not use it. As soon as you unlock it, I would go for it. But until then, there's only so much you can do. The extended mags offers a moderate increase in bullets you get per mag. Goes from 75 to 100, but the reload is only 4 seconds, so you're not going to notice a real benefit with that. So, in my personal opinion, I think what you should really stick to is the silencer and the stock, and you're going to have a lot of luck with this gun. Just keep in mind, trigger control is the way to success. I apologize for that phone, but if you like this video, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next commentary. As always, thank you for watching.